Today with us on the Jacks Up podcast, we'll be getting the opportunity to talk with Mark Johnson, a big influencer in the Wichita, Kansas community, and on top of that, a big influencer in the Manhattan, Kansas community, especially with the K-State college community. In Wichita, he has got the opportunity to coach some of the greatest athletes that have came out of Wichita, especially in my year and my age, and in all honesty, overall. And then on top of that, in Manhattan, he is the father of Avery Johnson and has some great knowledge and great experiences that he's got to have over the years in Manhattan. So thank you today for our time with Mark Johnson, and I hope you guys enjoy.
All right. So what all have you got going on lately?
Not much. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. Y'all got all fancy and stuff. My kids bought this. My kids bought this podcast stuff from me last year. They got me a nice microphone and headset so I could do this type of stuff. And I first time I ever wore it. So thanks for inviting me and thanks for letting me
You
use
look
my equipment.
official.
I'm looking real official,
Sure.
like a ref with a whistle,
Yeah.
baby.
So have you thought about starting up a podcast? I've heard Leon's got one going on right now.
I'm. You know what the thing is that when you're dealing with, you guys know, being in sports and stuff, you got to be real careful about what you say. And I'm a pretty controversial guy.
Yeah.
I really don't have a filter, and so I'm a little nervous about doing a podcast where some of the things that I say could reflect Avery. He's doing real good, and I don't want to say the wrong thing. So I'm just really doing a little research and just watching how other people do some things so that I can, just put a good product out there. But at this time, this is actually my first podcast.
Okay, there you go. Honored to be your first podcast. Let's do
Hey, I wouldn't rather do it with anybody else but my guys, man.
it. Yeah, no. I will say it's there's a little bit that goes into it for sure, but the nice part of it is like, sometimes we'll talk about stuff that we might have to cut out, but it's always nice to have that opportunity that if there is something that we said that it's like maybe we shouldn't have put that on there, we can always cut it out,
Yeah, for sure.
But so I guess to start out, I kind of wanted to touch a little bit on, obviously you have 3 kids, right?
4.
4? Okay, so what's everybody been doing lately?
My oldest daughter, she's in Omaha with my 11-year-old granddaughter, and she's doing her thing up there and just trying to, figure life out. My son, Anthony, he's gotten pretty serious with a young lady, and so they live up in Kansas City. Her name is Hadley, and really, 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 really nice young lady. We're happy for them. He's really maturing and doing some special things there. And then Lauren, of course, she left Wichita State, playing softball. She went up to Vegas, and she actually works for the Wynn Hotel in Vegas. And so she's been up there about going on almost 3 years. And then Avery, you know what he's doing.
Right. Yeah. So, kind of how was that with having Lolo kind of reflect on, did she have any influence on like kind of helping Avery with like playing at that next level for sports? Or was it kind of something he took on himself,
I think that that's a good question. I think that definitely. I think that it all started with my oldest daughter. She wasn't really into sports and stuff, and she didn't grow up in my home, so I just definitely wanted to pay reference to her. But with my 3 kids, the ones that you all know, I think that I try to tell Anthony all the time that it started with him. When Anthony was born, we played for the Wolverines. When Avery was born, we were playing for the Wolverines with Anthony at Barry Sanders Field when Hope went into labor with Avery. So, being able to go to all those football practices, being able to go to all the Lauren's softball practices, basketball practices, volleyball practices. Anthony played basketball and baseball and football. So being that age and just being dragged around all these different practices, all these different games and stuff, I think that it had a really big influence on what Avery wanted to do. And then, of course, friends and past teammates and, what we shared, with the Wichita Bears. I still look back at the Wichita City League and what they're doing. And while I don't want to say anything negative, anytime someone is volunteering their time to help our kids, it's just I don't really see the city league. I don't see the rivalries. I don't see the fundamentals. I don't see the execution and stuff like that we did. And then look at what we have. I mean, we're on a podcast. I haven't seen any of the other teams doing a podcast. So it was a lot of things that we did back then through motivation, through fun, through trial and error, that all of my boys are where they at now. And I just, like I said, the city league ain't like it was, and I don't think it'll ever be anybody like us.
Yeah. So have you heard how I don't know if they have or if they are getting rid of the city league? I know me and LJ were
got
talking.
rid of it. Me and my dad were talking about it. They said that most of the teams are having to travel to go play, and that they don't got like the Bulldogs and all those teams that we used to play. They don't have that anymore.
Dang.
I'm not aware if they don't have. I know that one of the guys that was really pushing that Bulldogs organization, I do know he went and started another organization. I couldn't tell you. I do know that they were pushing more towards. They had a shooting at one of the games shortly after you guys took off and went to actually it was probably like right around the time you was getting ready to go. Yeah. And since then, I think a lot of people were a little nervous about going. It was a one-off situation, but I just tell you, parents' expectations. People ask me, "Do you coach anymore?" I don't know if y'all gonna edit this, but hell no, I don't coach no more. Because it's just y'all remember me telling you this every time we started a football season. I said, fellas, y'all not going to the NFL tomorrow. It's not happening tomorrow. It's a lot of hard work, as you guys are seeing. It takes a lot of hard work to get to the NFL. And I also told you kids, well, young people now, I also told you young people that you don't have to just play in the NFL. I mean, you can go to the NFL and be a player, personnel coach. You can still make it to the NFL. They still go to the same places than players. They still go make a lot of money. So, it takes a lot of luck and stuff like that. But, back to the city league, I don't know what they're doing. And I did know that it's a lot of different people that, like, we started traveling quite a little bit towards the end, and I think that just ramped up, and, there's a lot of people that are in that for themselves. I mean, I had the tunnel and I had the smoke and everything, but if you remember, I said, I'm not buying that damn tunnel. I'm not buying that smoke. Y'all better go sell some cookie, And y'all went out and sold it, and we had it, but I mean, it was earned, and I just don't think that. I think that a lot of grown-ups are in it for themselves instead of the long term. So I don't know what they're doing, and I don't know if they're going to ever get it back. I have been reading some articles about how they're going to try to like funnel that into the schools, like definitely in middle schools, to give the middle schools some programs and stuff. So I really don't know what they're doing, man, really.
Yeah, I heard that. Imagine Wilbur having a football team. You got the Wranglers. That'd be crazy.
Man, they'd be having cowboy boot cleats. I went to Wilbur, LJ.
Really?
Yeah, I went to Wilbur, and I graduated from Northwest too.
I remember you telling me you went to Northwest.
Yeah.
I didn't know you went to Wilbur.
Yeah. I was a Wrangler.
Man, we both right. Okay, we both alumni.
That's it.
So, kind of talking about back in those days, whenever, we were playing, like, I will say firsthand that there was a lot of life lessons that football in general, but especially playing under you and Coach Bryce and Coach Troy, that like stick with me to this day, and I don't know if you have anything kind of like that, LJ, but like seeing like he kind of talks about like that tunnel, if we wanted that, we got to go out and work for it ourselves, and just like a lot of hard work and stuff that sticks with me to today, that I don't know if a lot of other organizations could have said that they had those types of coaching environment and whatnot, you
I
know?
think for me, like, and you see it, like, just the competitiveness. I remember my freshman year. We played you guys Heights, and no disrespect to my guys because they're my homies, but like, when Heights, you guys walked in, you guys were undefeated. When you guys walked in, everyone is literally death staring you guys.
Yeah.
And you see a couple of us that, like me, Caden Ross, and Ben, we ain't even paying you no mind because we're focused on us. And I think that was just kind of what stood out to me. And then handling the moment. Me and my dad talk about that, just being in the moment. Clutch situations that take, like, you got to be focused and locked in. I think that anyone who's played for the Bears, I think you have that it factor. You're calm in like certain situations where everyone's like, it's going to be a lot of pressure. I think if you play for the Bears, you're used to that. We went and traveled. We were playing teams that were older than us. And so, like, it just really didn't phase us. And, like, some teams that I seen, like, my friends play for, they kind of got a little nervous or a little rattled. And so that's the biggest thing I noticed.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Hey man,
So I guess-
who's that little dude down there with the unknown that ain't saying nothing? I mean, what is he? Is he a spy? He's a spy or something? LJ, I didn't brought him.
He a op. He went to Carroll. We can't mess with. Hey, he over here wearing the state shirt.
Quit.
Hey, what, Kaden? What you trying to do, bro?
Actually, crazy story. You got the story about when you got hurt. Didn't it have something to do with Avery when you were playing with Avery?
Yes. Avery actually dropped. Well, it was like a
In baseball.
Yes, it was in baseball. Avery was going back for a ball. It was a deep ball, and he ended up dropping it, and that's how I broke my hip, actually.
Okay. You got to like explain how that correlates.
Okay. So, it was a game that was going back and forth.
Was this high school or?
No, this was summer ball.
Okay, so this was when they were with the Falcons.
Yes, yeah. And this
Team were you on?
I was with the Stars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the start.
Yeah. And I was already hurt, but we didn't know what it was. And it was back and forth, extra innings, and then Avery dropped that ball, and I jumped up in the air and completely jacked up my hip,
Ooh.
celebrating. So yeah,
You get hurt.
that's real.
You get hurt celebrating.
Yeah.
It was just at my house, like 3 or 4 days ago. Kobe Gearns.
Oh yes.
He works up here for Denzel that went to Bishop Carroll, and he does some epoxy flooring stuff, and then he works down at Goosby's and kind of like a manager position or something. Really, like I walked in there, he was like, really, really nice. Of course, I mean he played for me, but just took care of me. And then he came out to my house to give me a bid for an epoxy floor. But yeah, he's doing real good, man. I know you know him with your Bishop Carroll shirt on, and then I'm sure that LJ then probably didn't say too much to him after that Northwest Bishop Carroll whole thing,
Nah.
Yeah. So, so obviously on City League, I don't know if this is very a public thing, but how did the Bears come to be? Like, I know you guys were the Wolverines, obviously, before I came involved. So how did that transition from the Wolverines to the Bears happen?
Well, first, let me say that nobody from the Wolverines wanted to go to the Bears. The kids didn't want to go. The parents didn't want to go. What ended up happening was Andy Roy, who the Bears used to be ran by a guy by the name Ken. He actually lived right across the street from where we practiced. And Ken, when he got out of it, he sold every team to the grade he sold the second grade to the second grade coach, the fifth grade to the fifth grade coach, so on and so forth. And they all, on our West Side teams, a lot of times we won't play past the sixth grade. Mm-hmm. Okay, we played seventh and eighth grade, but pretty much a lot of those kids, they go play for schools, Bishop Carroll, the parochial schools, so on, Mays, South Mays, and that kind of stuff. So when he sold it, when Ken gave it to Andy, then Andy Roy's team was like, let's say the second or third grade team at the time. And every year, when the third grade would go to fourth grade, then they would just hand the equipment down and just keep going. So once you got sixth grade, and you went to parochial, then you were done. You didn't have a team anymore. You just owned your own team. Well, when Andy got to the 6th grade, you know Carson Roy. Andy's Carson's dad. Andy came up to me and said, man, you know, I've worked with you with the boys, you know, in baseball and basketball and everything. He goes, I really like how you motivate kids. I'm going to give the Bears to you. So I tried to get our team to come on with the Bears in the 2nd grade, but we had already played our 1st grade year. So that 2nd grade year, we played for the Wolverines, and I owned the Bears. I had a coach that had a team over at the Bears, and then I was coaching the Wolverines, and then the City League said it was a conflict of interest that I had to choose one of the two. And I talked to my assistant coach, Bryce Eubanks, and we made if we could change if we could change the colors, and he didn't want to be the same color as the Wolverines. He wanted to change the colors and so on and so forth.
All right.
That's how it happened. Hold on just a second. I got something to show y'all. Hold on.
Okay.
That actually makes more sense. I was wondering because, like, when we, like, transitioned, I was like, well, the Bears is, like, kind of, like, low-key the same colors as us. So then, like, we, like, changed to, like, silver and black. So I was like, okay, this is kind of hard.
Yeah.
Like, bro, nobody, like, when my dad told me, I was like, why are we moving teams? I thought we were just leaving. I was like, no, we should just stay here. He was like, nah, you're gonna still have your same teammates, but you're gonna be like the Bears now. And I was like, the Wolverines.
Yeah.
But that makes a perfect sense of how we transition, to be honest.
Yeah.
But like me being young, I was just like, what are we doing?
Yeah. No, especially at that young age, like nobody really wants to change. Like,
No.
I remember like I was comfortable with the Colts before I came over. you
Yeah.
know, like that felt like a home away from home, you know.
Yeah.
And going to that first workout, seeing you, and I'm like, this is the guy that ran me.
Joe.
What y'all think?
Yeah. Hold on, let me see.
Okay, I gotta carry it. Oh, you still got it?
Man, I got a couple of them. I mean, I still got about 3 or 4 of them after those. So if y'all ever want one.
Oh yeah, I still kept my helmet.
Yeah, I know you got your helmet.
Okay, well.
Yeah, but if you want one, I got them. I even got the old Bears helmets. I got them. I got a man cave out in the garage, and I got a man cave downstairs. I got a Bears helmet in both of them.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool. So do you still have all the trophies that you got over the years?
every one of them.
Here we go.
I was just talking to my wife yesterday when we moved out here to Manhattan. I said about a quarter of my shed. I have a barn outside, and about a quarter of it, it's all our trophies, every trophy that we ever had, and if I had a little bit more room, then I'm still gonna put them up. I'm never gonna get rid of those trophies. Somebody's gonna be knowing about the nightmares we put on their ass for the rest of their life.
Yes, we were one of those.
Man, oh
Hey, who'd you play for?
So I played for the Park City Ravens. I don't know if you remember who they are.
man,
Because that was who Justin was with before Justin came over to us.
Actually, my stepdad was the coach, so
hey man, I remember he came up to me. He was talking big trash, man. He came up to me. We was in Park City. He came to me in Park City. We
That sounds about
cracking
right.
and hitting. 'Cause we would never hit in practice, and so
Is this the
when we wouldn't hit,
is this when we was like doing the Oklahoma drills?
yeah, we would
I
never hit in
remember that.
practice. But when we go to the game, we warm up by just cracking each other. You know what I mean? Because we wanted to intimidate everybody. So, and me and your dad became cool after, you know, but he was talking mad crap. And we get out to Park City, and my boy started hitting. He was like, hey, man, I'm kind of down a couple of my starters, man. I just wanted to make sure y'all take it easy. I go, man, no. I said, you didn't
I
know
think
that.
after
Yeah,
playing you guys, I was like, football's probably not my sport. I was like, I'm gonna stick to baseball.
I remember that. That was crazy.
Yeah,
I'm doing Oklahoma drills. I'm like, well, okay.
So, imagine a high school team or a college team hitting Oklahoma before the game.
Oh, I ain't gonna have no bus.
If one of the other coaches pissed me off, man, I'd have my boys wanting to kill each other, so they'd be wanting to kill the other team. And we come out of that tunnel, man. I remember we come out of the tunnel, and the Bulldog kids be wanting to come in with the smoke. Their parents be like, "Get out that tunnel! You got get in that tunnel. That's the enemy. They be like, man, I don't care what you talking about. I'm coming out of this tunnel with some smoke.
I remember that all the little kids would always run out after us. And, it's like, who are you?
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
join the train. Join the train.
So do you have any games that stand out to you in memory that was your favorite game or anything like that?
My favorite game of all time is when we came back and beat the Tigers after being down 21
that's me
to 6.
too. Yeah,
That was crazy.
With 2 minutes and
shout out
42
Isaac
seconds left in the game, we was down 21 to 6.
Shout out Isaac Heap.
that's crazy.
And you
man.
remember, I was running up and down the sideline. We was losing. I was like, hey, man, this game ain't over, man. We about to win this game. I just kept saying it over and over. We're going to win this game, and we won it. That was crazy.
That was like what really first taught me like games are never over because man, I mean me and Avery we were pissed. I mean you see,
Yeah.
that was the first. I mean Avery yelled at Bryce. Avery yelled at Bryce. He was like, "I'm trying," and Bryce was like, "I'm down." I'm over here like, man, what are we doing? Like, I'm yelling at Jacob Racine. I'm like,
Man, so was that whenever Malachi and some of those Bears guys came over? Or was that the year before?
They came over the year after.
Yeah,
And it was only Malachi. We didn't – you remember in the 7th grade – see, one thing about social media and people, they would always say, hey, man, what you doing? How you doing? I wouldn't tell them nothing. I mean, why in the world would I tell you what we doing? And so what would happen is, and one of my very, very, very good friends, said Jay, got on Facebook and was like, we got 150 and 160 pounds coming your way. And he had Malachi and the other kid, and they were big. I'm like, psh. So to be really honest with you, man, to this day, and Malachi, I tell you this, I never called Malachi. I wanted him to come play with us because every year I needed a 2-headed monster. See, when we were in little league, LJ was just stepping over everybody. Didn't nobody want to come tackle LJ. Nowhere. We could be in Florida and then nobody want to tackle LJ. I remember one time LJ was we was playing with the Ravens, and LJ was playing middle linebacker, and this kid was coming around, and because LJ was just sweeping these kids up. I mean, throwing them all on the sideline and stuff. They would ask me to take him out of the game. I wouldn't take him out of the game. So this kid is running a sweep. And the whole time he got his eyes on LJ, and I mean Tate. Oh.
shout out
Man,
Tate.
that's why we call Tate Bam Bam. Man, Tate hit
Shout out
that.
to Tate.
Man, Tate hit that dude so hard. So then the kid said, I got punched in the stomach. Well, what he was trying to say was he got his air knocked out of him.
Yeah.
But then they coach start talking about, yeah, man, your players is dirty. He punched my
remember
kid
that.
in the stomach. Man, I tried to make that coach touch everything on the football field.
I remember that.
Remember they called the police and everything. I was like, you ain't gonna be calling my kids dirty.
Because we was like, I mean, we was getting after. I ain't gonna lie, we was hitting, and then I just see like your kids are hitting my players in the stomach. We like, what? Like I don't even know how to throw a punch. Like, what's that?
I said, hey, you can say whatever you want to say, man. I said, but don't let dirty and my players come out of your mouth one more time. You know what happened? Your kid just got depleted. And we was over there checking on him. I mean, we had a doctor on our staff. They were over there checking on the kid and everything. We wasn't celebrating. All the kids was on one knee. And that dude gonna say, why in the world would you punch him in the stomach when my helmet just took him out off the whole planet? I never understood. But yeah, what was the question? I didn't got off of it.
We were just talking about your favorite game, like with the Tigers game. Like I remember that game we had, what was it, 3 onside kicks? Mm-hmm. And then I remember Wesley had those.
That's tip to
Dylan.
Did Dylan tip it to Wesley?
No, Wesley jumped up to get it, and the ball tipped. And Dylan was supposed to be on the other side of the field, but Dylan ball hawked, and his instincts just told him to go over there where the ball was. When the ball got tipped, he caught it and ran a touchdown. Then Isaac Heed kicked so it was 14-21. Yeah. And then Isaac Heed kicked the onside. We get it. And then Avery threw the pass to Wesley. He caught it and went in. And then we kicked the onside kick again. And I think LJ ended up running the last one in.
Dang.
In 2 minutes and 42 seconds. Yeah, it was crazy. 2 minutes and 42 seconds. It was crazy. I watched that game often.
Really?
Fine now.
Yeah. You know, another one of the games that really stands out to me is you remember when we played the Dell City Eagles and we're blowing them out at halftime. I think this was at Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
And then they just started a brawl or like they were trying to fight after it. And then I remember somebody was talking about pulling a gun.
Whoa. It's crazy. I don't even remember the fight. I just remember my dad yelling at me because I dropped the ball. And like, I remember Coach Mark, he walked up to me, was like, I need your gloves. I was like, what you need my gloves for? He said, your dad said, take them off. I was like, I remember that so vividly. He said, your dad said you need to take them gloves off.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
But and your daddy having the gloves made you catch the ball better because it was sticky. I was like, man, he ain't got to take the gloves. He's like, man, I said take the gloves. I'm like, all right, man, all right, I'll go take the gloves.
That's what I was saying. I'm like, what am I taking my gloves off for? I was like, all right.
You know what, Garrett? That's crazy that you said that. There's a kid that plays for K-State that played against us in that Dale City.
Really?
Okay.
That is crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He was just talking. Avery was just talking. Avery just went to Miami for spring break, and he was just talking about that Wednesday. He was like, "Man, that kid. Remember we got into it with Dale City? So the kid on our team played on that team. Yeah, they was acting up.
That is crazy.
They were
you know, another one of those crazy things is, do you remember the Topeka Crush?
Yeah.
Yep.
So they have Tyrell Reed, who's up at the Arkansas running back. He was on their team playing against us too.
Yeah. They had another kid that plays for Iowa State. He was a running back. He played for them too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we played to get some comp. What?
Yeah, man. Yeah, we did.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we did.
And that, like, it was crazy. There was a guy that went to Friends up here that I worked with at my Walmart, and he was telling me, we were chatting about football. Then he realized I used to play. He played for the Missouri Wolverines. And so then me and him are talking, and they had like 2 or 3 guys go to some D1 schools as well, too. So, like,
that's crazy.
It was like, you know, a lot of people said we wasn't playing comp. I mean, we were.
Man, let me tell you what. To be honest with you, one thing that I really have never heard a lot of was the competition that we played. Man, we beat that team that won the Super Bowl at Disney World. The
Port Osage Indians.
Port Osage Indians. We beat them. We beat that Silverbacks team. Remember, every time we go to Kansas City, they have different helmets on.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't run away from no smoke, man. We played up, we played down, we played middle, we played around. When we was in 8th grade, we played 11th graders in Texas, man. Them dudes
Thank you.
Man, them dudes tried to kill us.
Talking about that. Hey, we was talking about that with Rose yesterday. We had Rose on here, and we were chatting about that. Like, that drive home was the most painful I felt in my life.
I try to tell Bryce, first of all, well, it didn't make no sense for us to go down there, man. It really didn't.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because, one, they kind of, I'm not even going to go so far to say, I never said nobody cheated us, okay? First of all, in Texas, those kids, we were suburban kids, you know. Y'all didn't have to go home with your lights getting cut off. You didn't have to go home with just your mom or just your dad or no food in the refrigerator or anything like that. We were privileged. We had, you know, most of the kids on my team had good grades, you know, had a good family, home, you know what I mean? Had both their parents. Most of them had both their parents in their life. They might not have had them in the same house, but they had them in their life, you know. And then you go to Texas where the majority of those kids didn't have anything. So it causes a little bit of a different type of hunger, and it causes a little bit more of a I don't know what word I'm looking for, just matureness and hungry that you don't get until like what you have now. Now that you are working a job, or now that you are in college working for a position or whatever, now you do have to be hungry. Now that does come out. I didn't say that they were better than you were going to ever be. It's just that their agenda was a little bit different. And so here we are. We played a team that they beat us by, what was it, 1 point? Remember we was trying to get in the end zone in Oklahoma?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was.
Oh yeah, we did play. Yeah,
They
up
beat
in
us by
Oklahoma.
1 point. It was the first time we had ever
Yeah.
been beat.
Yep.
And then that was in the fourth. That was in the.
Then third.
I think it was like third. Yeah.
It
'Cause I
was
think it was
third
one
because
of my
Dylan
first
wasn't
years
on the
up there.
team. It was third grade.
Yeah, it was third. Yeah, I remember that one.
You want to go 5 years later after, like, if you noticed the Cowboys, the Bulldogs, the Tigers, once you hit puberty, then we wasn't the big, like, at first when we were younger, we were kind of big, you know.
Yeah.
But then, like, once you start getting 6th, 7th, 8th grade, some of these kids was hitting puberty at a different age, and they were just bigger than us. You know, someone was faster than us. We were just smarter than those guys. So Bryce wanted to go. After we got beat by a team by 1 point, 5 years later, he wanted to avenge the loss in their backyard.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Break that down. It ain't adding up.
I'm like, man, this should be like a victory tour. To be honest with you, and I know people that say this is
Yeah.
wrong, but I would have much rather went and played because we were supposed to go to that Hall of Fame deal where we're gonna go to Canton, Ohio, and it fell through. You remember?
Yep.
Once
Yep.
that didn't happen, man, we should have just went and played some teams that we knew we were gonna beat. Let our other players that wasn't playing very much get in the game and play. Let you guys enjoy it and have pizza parties and all kind of stuff and end it off. But we were so competitive, man. We went up there and got half our team beat up and hurt, and then we came back and went to Lawrence. And after we didn't beat all them teams, we let them beat us because we only had half our players. They left off on a note of beating the best that they ever played, while it just wasn't a good move, man. Wasn't a good move.
Yeah. Going back to that, like I would watch some videos, like seeing how like little John was, and then like how huge he got, just all high. I'm like, man, what is this? But yeah, I mean, we would go out of town. It was very strict. There wasn't no swimming. You ain't doing all that, and so like we kept a strict schedule, and then like that was supposed like 8th grade. That was supposed to be just a hoorah. We could go swim and finally do all the stuff we didn't get to do, but. I mean, I wouldn't trade it for any other thing. I mean,
Me either.
I still like that we went out fighting and
I mean, it was business from day one.
always.
Yeah, it always was. I remember it was we're leaving a good impression on this hotel, and if we don't, y'all gonna hit that tree. Matter of fact, let's talk about that tree. Right? Tree.
And Coach Mark, I don't know. One day, I don't know what Coach. You thought we was the cross country team? He said sprint, sprint, sprint. Hit the tree, come back, sprint. What is that? What's up?
One of them kids said, man, I swear, I promise when I get off the bus, I'm going to burn that tree down.
Me, LJ, and Rose, and I think it was Racine or Sam, one of those days, we talked about, we was like, we need to cut that tree down and just leave it in Coach Mark's front yard.
Hey, don't let it be Bulldog week. Don't let it be Bulldog week. Running across the whole park. I'm like, hey, them trees suck.
We was
Hate
in so
trees.
much better shape than they was, man.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
all the way around. And not just that, but, like you had asked me earlier, did Avery benefit from Lauren and Lauren benefit from Anthony and so on and so forth? Well, I benefited from coaching Anthony. I'd already been through this for six years, city league champions, having rivals and stuff like that. And so coming with this new group, I was the head coach, and I knew what I had saw. And I wasn't the smartest X's and O guy. Like, you never seen me sit down and telling you what kind of play to run. I was more there to motivate and to take up for you. I remember my father-in-law told me, he said, if you get good coaches, that's what a good head coach is a coach that has good assistant coaches around him. And so we went with Troy in the 4th grade, and Bryce, I ran the defense up into the end, and then Bryce always ran the offense, and I knew I was more mature than a lot of coaches I was coaching against, and we just knew that if you were fundamentally sound, that it was going to turn into one of two things, one of a few things. Either you was going to be a damn good football player, or you're going to be a damn good son, father, or friend. And that's all we ever really sought out. And I see all these kids that play football for us. Man, every single solitary one of them is doing good. We ain't got nobody on our team that's strung out on drugs. I'm telling you, man, I follow all these kids on social media. I'll send them message every once in a while and check on you and see how you're doing or whatever, or somebody will reach out to me. But I'm going to tell you, man, out of all the kids on our team, whether they was with us a year or whether they was with us 10 years, it's only a few that I knew when they got on the team that we were going to have some long-term issues, which is one of the reasons why I invited them to the team so that I could keep them safe for as long as possible. But some of them had resources that their parents went to the joint, their parents' went to the joint, their parents' went to the joint. And at that point in time, you have to make a decision on whether you want to go to the joint. My dad was convicted of murder 3 times, brother. 3 times, tried to murder my mother. And I could have chose to be in the penitentiary, but I chose to be somebody that was going to try to change people's lives in a way that I would have liked to see mine. I would have loved to see my dad come to the games and so on and so forth. He never was there. He was in jail. So I just made sure that I created environments and created teams and things like that so that we can do what we're doing right now. Y'all look like you're doing real good. You got your arms all kicked back on leather furniture and carrying on. I'm hoping that we, the whole coaching staff, has something to do with that. And I think that every last one of you are going to be successful. And I can't wait to do more podcasts like this. I can't wait to, you know what? You guys have inspired me to do my podcast. When you have a MacBook, the MacBook, it has all the podcast stuff built inside.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is when I start my podcast, I'll definitely invite all 3 of you guys on there to kind of, I'll have me up, but it's going to be a little different, man. I'm going to have some guys on there. We might be clowning and having a real good time. But, man, I've always wanted to do this, and I really appreciate you inviting me on here because I think that I'm going to probably take off after this.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, no, I'm glad that we got the opportunity to get you on here. We made a list off the jump about who all we wanted to get on here, and you were one of those top names for sure.
How you feel?
Fired up. Nah, the City League was lit though when we played. I miss it. I think we had rivalries. The main one was really just us and the Bulldogs. How you got the high school rivalries like Northwest Carroll, Derby, and Mays. Those are the big. We was doing that at a young age.
Yes,
So
he was.
I mean you go from Saturdays. You got Barry Sanders packed, and just looking back and looking at some of those games, it was crazy seeing how many people was there. But we was young, so it was just kind of football. Football was fun. You didn't really take time to soak it all in.
Yeah.
That was lit.
That was a good time, man. It was the best times of my life, man, hanging out with your kids.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of fun, man. I mean, like I said, we just wanted to – my whole focus was just changing lives. I was at Dudley's the other day. This kid came up to me. He's like, "You remember me?" I'm like, "I'll never forget a face. You played for me." He goes, "Yeah." He said, "I played for you when you had the 2nd grade Wolverines." He said, "We were in the 1st grade." He said, "I remember you came up to me. He said, you'll give me $5 if I would beat one of your linemen." And I remember doing it. I was like, "Man, you beat old buddy over here. I'm going to give you $5." So I stopped practice like, "Man, this 1st grader, so he going to whoop you or whatever." And the kid beat him. He was like, "Man, how you feel?" I'm like, "I feel pretty good." He was like, "No, how you feel?" And I'm like,
I feel pretty.
"I feel good." He's like, "No, how you feel?" And I'm like, fired up. And he started telling me that he only played for us 1 year. He played down, and then they dropped down and played for the younger coach. This is with my oldest boy. And he said, "Man, you changed my life in that 1 year." He said, I'm a regional sales manager, and I walk into that meeting, and I say, "How you feel?" And I'm like, "Oh, man, that's pretty cool." So now that I'm getting past 50, I'm starting to get you guys are starting to come around. Some of you are still playing sports. Some of you are getting ready to graduate from college in the next year or 2. Some of you are dads. Some of you just needed somebody to talk to. Man, it's really starting to come around full circle, and that's really what I did it for. I did it to be at the hospital when you have your kid. I did it to make sure that you were able to buy a house or to get you a degree or go to the NFL or go to college. Whatever it was that your heart desired, that's what we did it for. So it looks like it's all working.
Yeah. Well, I feel that was a perfect note right there to cut it all off.
Yeah.
So thank you for your time. I'm super excited we finally got this done. we've been talking about it for a minute now. So thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Guys, man, I am honored. Thank you so much for having me. I think this is going to motivate me to get my microphone and my computer out. But thank you guys again, man. I really appreciate it. And if you ever need me to come back on, or I'll probably send you guys an invite to come on mine when I get mine started.
Heck yeah.
Yes, sir.
All
All
right,
right, well,
fellas.
we look forward to it.
Love you guys, man. Thank you again.
Love you, Coach. Thank you.
All right.
All right.